Hello, and welcome to our video on navigating family conflict, tips for resolving disagreements and strengthening relationships. Family conflicts are an inevitable part of life, and they can often be difficult and challenging to navigate. However, conflicts can also be an opportunity for growth and development, and can lead to stronger relationships within the family. In this video, we will share 5 tips to help you navigate family conflict, resolve disagreements, and strengthen your relationships. Tip 1. Listen to understand, not to respond. The first tip for navigating family conflict is to listen to understand, not to respond. When we are in the middle of a conflict, our natural tendency is to become defensive and start preparing our responses before the other person has finished speaking. However, this approach only leads to misunderstandings and can make the conflict worse. Instead, try to approach the conversation with an open mind and listen actively to what the other person is saying. Ask clarifying questions to ensure you understand their perspective and validate their feelings by acknowledging them. This approach can help diffuse tension and create a more productive conversation. Tip 2. Use I statements instead of you statements. The second tip is to use I statements instead of you statements. When we use you statements, it can come across as accusatory and put the other person on the defensive. For example, saying "you always do this" can feel like an attack and can escalate the conflict. Instead, try to use I statements to express how you feel. For example, saying "I feel hurt when this happens" can help the other person understand your perspective without feeling attacked. This approach can create a more empathetic and understanding conversation. Tip 3. Focus on the issue, not the person. The third tip is to focus on the issue, not the person. In the heat of the moment, it can be easy to attack the other person's character instead of addressing the specific issue at hand. However, this approach only creates more conflict and can damage relationships. Instead, try to focus on the issue itself and how it is affecting you. Avoid making personal attacks or bringing up past issues that are not relevant to the current conflict. This approach can help keep the conversation on track and prevent it from becoming overly emotional. Tip 4. Find a compromise. The fourth tip is to find a compromise. Often in family conflicts, both parties have valid points and concerns. Instead of trying to win the argument, try to find a solution that meets both of your needs. Brainstorm potential solutions together and be open to considering different perspectives. This approach can help create a win-win situation where both parties feel heard and valued. Tip 5. Practice forgiveness. The final tip is to practice forgiveness. Family conflicts can be emotionally charged and can lead to hurt feelings and resentment. However, holding on to anger and grudges only leads to more pain and can damage relationships. Instead, practice forgiveness by letting go of past hurts and focusing on the present. This doesn't mean you have to forget what happened or condone the behavior, but it does mean you are choosing to move forward and let go of negative emotions. In conclusion, family conflicts are an inevitable part of life, but they don't have to be a source of stress and pain. By following these 5 tips, listening to understand, using I statements, focusing on the issue, finding a compromise, and practicing forgiveness, you can navigate family conflicts in a way that strengthens your relationships and leads to growth and development. Remember, conflict is an opportunity for growth and development, and by approaching it with an open mind and heart, you can create a more positive and meaningful family dynamic. So next time you find yourself in the middle of a family conflict, take a deep breath, remind yourself of these tips, and approach the situation with patience and understanding. It's important to note that these tips may not work in every situation and that seeking professional help may be necessary for more complex conflicts. Additionally, not every conflict will have a happy resolution, and it's okay to set boundaries and prioritize your own well-being. However, by practicing these tips and approaching conflicts with an open mind, you can create a more positive and fulfilling family dynamic. So start implementing these tips today and watch as your family relationships grow and strengthen. Thank you for watching this video on navigating family conflict, tips for resolving disagreements and strengthening relationships. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more helpful content. And as always, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down below.